This week on the Dawg Show, we're going to preview Week 2 in the Ball State Cardinals travel from Muncie, Indiana to Athens, Georgia to take on the Georgia Bulldogs.
This is the SEC Network 12 o'clock game of the week. The Bulldogs are coming off a, I guess you could say, semi-impressive victory of UT Martin by a score of 48-7. And the Ball State Cardinals, they took a whooping up in Lexington to the Wildcats of Kentucky. They lost 44-14.
You know, there were some question marks about quarterbacks. Georgia had a bunch of injuries. Brock Bowers showed out like we thought we would. There was some surprises with some new faces. So what are your thoughts?
I'm not going to be down on Carson Beck like everybody else was. I don't think it's any time to panic. Y'all played, I think I read somewhere where 16 true freshmen suited up for the game. There was a number of players that didn't play. Rosemary Jack Saints, for one, he didn't play. Ladd McConkey didn't play. The Dejon Edwards, he didn't play. Now, Kendall Milton suited up, and I saw where Kirby Smart said that Milton wanted to be out there on the field with his team for this game. So he suited up and played. The phenom linebacker Raylan Wilson, the freshman, he didn't play. Carson, 31 attempts. He completed 21 of them. He had 294 yards, and he had a touchdown. And, he had a rushing touchdown. I don't think, that he played himself out of the starting role or anything like that. And, Vandergrift come in, 3 for 77 yards and a touchdown, and Gunner had 29 yards. Vandergrift definitely looked good, and it's always going to be the backup. Everybody's always going to be, hey, the backup. Yeah. Which I think Vandergrift's great. I'd take him right now, no doubt. Or Carson, or Gunner, or Carson, all three of them. But I don't think he played himself out of the starting position. Now, you look at your running back room, Roderick Robertson, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Kendall Milton had 53 yards. Andrew Paul, he came in and rushed 4 times. He had a total of 159 yards on the ground. You would expect that to be a little bit more in that kind of game.
Well, it was running back by committee. I mean, we kind of called that last show, right?
Yeah. I mean, Cash Jones even got 5 yards on 3 carries. So they did have 3 touchdowns on the ground. Now, I would have expected a little bit more out of that, but then you look at these receivers. That's just so explosive, man. The walk-on Mekhi Muse, 3 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown.
He was exciting to watch.
Yeah, he was electric. Brock Bowers does his thing. 5 more catches for 77 yards, and, I believe he had a rushing touchdown. So, Brock, which I think we even called that on the last Dawg Show. Dylan Bell, Ra Thomas. I mean, there was, several. I mean, even out of the backfield, Cash Jones had 4 catches for 25 yards. So Oscar Delp gets on the board with a touchdown, 2 catches for 24 yards. So Dominique Lovick, I believe he dropped his first 2 passes that he's dropped in a year. But, he comes back to have 25 yards on 3 catches. So galore, the weapons are there, just galore. And you're still not really going to get a true test in this Ball State team who said they gave up 357 yards to Kentucky.
Yeah, I think coming off last year's momentum that we had, I don't know if fans were just ready to watch Georgia come out and just, literally bulldog this team. And I think the slow start, we know that Carson Beck was nervous. He even admitted that he was nervous in his post-game interview. Folks wanted to see Georgia just come out and dominate. I think Kirby was being methodical. There's so many questions still around Bobo's play calling. Georgia fans remember that stuff.
Yeah.
So, without that, you look over here and you got Oregon putting up 81 points and, all these other teams. There was 3 teams this week that scored over 73 points.
That's amazing.
In a game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Georgia fans are always looking to point their finger somewhere.
Well, expectations, I mean, that's what this is all about, especially for the fans, right? I mean, you're looking to three-peat. Hadn't been done since 1934, 35, 36, something like that.
The odds are against us for sure.
Yeah. And
how many games did Carson Beck started before this?
None.
Right.
So,
It's been 4 years since he started a football game.
Yeah. And they still scored 48 points.
Yeah. I think the quarterback situation is going to work itself out. And, if Beck's not getting it done, we've got 2 capable guys waiting in the wings. I think the other things are going to work himself out. I was a little concerned about Lovett dropping 2 balls. One of them, he heard the defense steps and he was scared and he was about to get hit coming across the middle. That's coaching, right? He'll get over that. This Muse cat, wow, he's a little dude. I'm worried about him getting hurt, But my gosh.
I mean, look at Devontae Smith, though.
I know.
Heisman Trophy winner. He can't be no bigger than...
No, he's 5'8", what, 170,
Something like that,
185, something like that. I mean, geez.
I'll tell you, though, what stood out to me, and it's something we mentioned when we did our SEC preview. The Bulldogs defense only had 1 sack. Now, sure, maybe it was a scheme that UT Martin was running or whatever, but this is starting to, be a trend. What is going on? How can they not? With all the dudes they got on the line and the linebackers, how can they not just go through this UT Martin offensive line? I mean, how do you just 1 sack?
Yeah, they gave up 134 yards rushing. They gave up 128 yards passing. They caused 1 fumble.
1 sack.
Yep.
So, they had 2 pass deflections, I think, and yards for loss on that sack. Mykal Williams got, he got 4 loss of yards. But like I said, there should have been more than 1 sack. So, that's not going to be a problem this game. It's not going to be a problem the next game, but
it could be a problem.
Yeah, something is just, I don't know. Maybe it is what it is, and I'm not going to try to make a big deal about it. I'm just saying when I went through the box score, I looked at the defense, and that was the first thing I looked for. And when I saw 1, I was like, wow, how does that happen? Ball State's coming in. The quarterback's banged up. Captain on defense is banged up. Their sophomore running back, he left the game with an injury. So this is a depleted Ball State team coming to Athens. And again, expectations, guys, Kirby's not going to show anything. This is going to be vanilla. Tamper your expectations, folks. You have nothing to worry about. SEC plays down the road. You don't go to Knoxville, I think, till something like November 9th. So, let Carson get used to this offense. And, this is why I was telling Josh last week, I feel like he should play into the third quarter, and he did,
Yeah, I think what Vandergrift come out towards the latter part of the third quarter.
Yeah. So all that being said, the number on the game, they got Georgia at 43.5 and 53.5 as a total. My numbers show Georgia minus 47.5. I'm not going to run to the window to bet Georgia, but I would not be surprised at all if they win this game 48-0, 49-0, or something 45-0, something ridiculous like that. If Ball State doesn't cross midfield, I'm not going to be surprised about that either.
I think they're going to continue to play running back by committee.
Sure.
And make sure they're protecting these guys because they do have South Carolina coming up the following week. And then on the 30th, they've got Auburn.
Well, ho hum. We're going to see what my boys do in Berkeley this Saturday night. 10:30, man. Come on.
All right, guys. Well, that's our show for the week. We really appreciate you tuning in. Please remember to subscribe and to like. And go Dogs.